Guys, Victor Oladipo just got traded to the Miami Heat, and the NBA playoff picture just got a whole lot more interesting. Because with Victor Oladipo, the Heat now have a big three of Victor, Jimmy, Bam, and with the recent success of the Heat, with the knowledge that last year Miami went to the NBA Finals, we have to ask the question, is Victor Oladipo enough? Can Victor Oladipo be an absolute game changer and help lead the Miami Heat to the NBA Finals for the second straight season? That is what we are talking about in today's video, the third video we have posted today. Make sure to go check out the other two. I'm going to link the Chicago Bulls trading for Nikola Vucevic and the Denver Nuggets trading for Aaron Gordon down below. With that in mind, what's up guys, Mike here. Hope you're having an awesome day. And if you guys haven't watched the video in a second, I'm doing two big giveaways. The first is that as soon as we hit 1.7 million subscribers, I'm giving away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X to one of you guys. So make sure you subscribe and turn post notifications on to be entered into that giveaway. The second, and again, all you have to do to enter this is subscribe as well. Make sure you turn post notifications on, is that I'm doing a bonus giveaway every single video. To one subscriber, I'm going to give away a basketball jersey of your choice. And guys, the winner of the jersey from my last video is on the screen right now. All you have to do to get your jersey is hit me up at Mike Kors on Twitter, and I'll make sure to get you your jersey. For now, let's continue on with the video. And all right, guys, so when it comes down to it here, we all know that headed into the final minutes of the NBA trade deadline, there were two big names on everyone's mind. We had Kyle Lowry, who is sticking put. He is staying with the Toronto Raptors, which to me is kind of a big surprise, actually. I'm surprised that a team like the Sixers or the Lakers did not pull the trigger. I'm surprised that no one made a move to trade for Kyle, because he is one of those types of players that can completely change the NBA championship landscape. Now, the question we have to ask ourselves when it comes to Victor Oladipo is he one of those players? When we really look at the history of the NBA, a championship deciding trade happening at the trade deadline is a very rare occurrence. Sure, we do have trades where NBA All-Stars are traded. We even have guys like Carmelo Anthony get traded to the Knicks in the middle of the season. But championship changing trades, those do not come along often. And when it comes to the case of Victor Oladipo and the Miami Heat, we very well might have a championship changing trade here. Now, I want to make this clear right now. I am not saying that the Miami Heat are the favorites for the NBA championship. I'm not saying the Miami Heat are the favorites to make the NBA championship out of the East. What I am saying though is that I think that the title of this video is justified. I think that the NBA could very well be scared of this trade. The reason being that when we look at actual NBA championship contenders here, it looks like the Miami Heat made the biggest upgrade. I mean, just looking at this trade, the Rockets traded Oladipo to Miami for Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and a draft swap. That means that the Miami Heat were able to keep their guys. I actually have a huge announcement to make. I am starting a podcast. Yes, it's finally happening. And with that podcast, I am teaming up with Flight Mike and Get Like Coop, and our podcast is named Laced Up. I'm going to link my podcast in the description. Make sure to go subscribe. We are going to be posting our first episode next week, probably on Tuesday. And as an added bonus, if you subscribe to the podcast right now and turn post notifications on, which means make sure you hit that bell, we are going to give one person who is subscribed and has post notifications on a PS5 or Xbox Series X. Plus, of course, you guys get to be there from the beginning. We are going to be grinding on this podcast, so make sure you go subscribe. They were able to keep Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, and then they are adding Victor Oladipo to this core. It is at this point right now that I do want to talk about Victor Oladipo's injuries, because at the end of the day here, Victor Oladipo's injuries are a major concern. Since his breakout 2018 season that saw him average 23.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game, Victor only played in 36 games in 2019 and then only played in 19 games in 2020. That is pretty concerning if you commit to Victor Oladipo long term, but like I've already mentioned in this video, the Heat did not give up a whole lot to get Victor. I mean, when it comes down to it, Miami is going to be able to watch Victor Oladipo play this season. They're going to have him in their facilities. They're going to have their trainers look at him, and they are going to be able to gauge themselves whether or not Victor Oladipo is worth a long-term contract. This is, in my opinion, a low-risk, high-reward scenario, and I don't blame the Rockets for making some kind of move here, because really, the Rockets had no choice. If you didn't know, Victor did turn down a 2-year, $45.5 $3.2 million extension that was in the moment supposed to be a good faith offer. It was an offer that was seen as Houston saying to Victor, hey look, we're giving you this offer just to show you that we're interested, just to show you that we want you here long term. However, since then, things have changed dramatically. When the Rockets made that offer, they had not lost 20 games in a row. They were not the absolutely horrible team they are now, and now, because they have become such a bad team, it no longer makes sense to commit to Victor Oladipo long term. The Houston Rockets need to rebuild. So with that in mind, let's talk Miami Heat here. Let's talk Victor Oladipo. What is he going to bring to Miami that is going to be game-changing come the playoffs? Well, for starters, let's talk negatives and then we're going to talk positives. So if we look at the base stats of Victor Oladipo this season, we see that in 20 games in Houston, he is averaging 21.2 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Certainly solid numbers, especially when you consider the role that he is going to play in Miami, a role that we will get to in a little bit. Now, the problem we have with Victor Oladipo's numbers is that when we look more closely, we can see that the advanced numbers are just not great, to say the least. In 2018, again, the prime of Victor Oladipo's career, he had a PER of 23.1, he had a true shooting percentage of around 58%, he finished the season with 8.2 win shares. This year combined in 2021, and keep in mind his numbers were actually better in Indiana, Victor has a PER of just 15.4, he's at a true shooting percentage of just around 52%, and he's only had 0.7 win shares. The advanced numbers simply just do not add up here, which to me raises the question that we were asking kind of in the beginning of this video. How impactful is Victor Oladipo going to be on the Houston Rockets? Because are we just living in the past here? Do we just remember prime Victor Oladipo? Do we just remember the pre-injury version of him and are expecting that version in Miami? Well, personally guys, I'm not expecting that version. I feel like I have a realistic approach to what Victor is going to be able to give the Heat, but I still think that Victor's impact is going to be potentially a huge one. Now, the reason for this is that Victor Oladipo was never the type of player that was going to win you a championship by himself or as the number one option on a team. He, even in his prime, for all intents and purposes, was an ideal third option on a championship team, which is perfect because, as we all know, the Miami Heat are Jimmy Butler's team. Jimmy is going to be option number one, and from there, on any single night in the playoffs, the Heat are going to be able to change up their second option based on who's hot. We've seen Tyler Hero absolutely go off in the playoffs. We've seen Duncan Robinson reign in 3 after 3, and we have seen Bam have monster games both on the offensive and defensive end. The Miami Heat might have on the outside looking in a big 3 or 4, but really this team is all about teamwork, and this team is all about players stepping up when their number is called. That is how they made the NBA Finals last season. During their playoff run, the Heat did not overly rely on one single player. Instead, if one guy was hot, the Heat went to them, and the culture they have built there, the winning atmosphere they have built, has really helped every single player that goes there to buy in and just support whoever is crushing it on that night. That is why I think this is the perfect situation for Victor Oladipo. Because listen, the man is still recovering from injuries here. I've already said it multiple times, he is not the same player, but he has shown flashes of being that same player. And keep in mind, he's about to be 29 years old. That means, sure, he might be nearing the end of his prime, but if we look at the modern NBA today, there are plenty of guards that extend that prime up to the age of 35 plus. I mean, look at Kyle Lowry, the man we were talking about before. He is 35 years old this season. Last season, he was an all-star at the age of 34. So it is very, very possible that the Miami Heat are going to get multiple great seasons out of Victor Oladipo. And like I said, I think they're the perfect team for him to go to because he's not going to be relied on doing too much. If Victor were to be traded to someone like the New York Knicks, all eyes would be on him there. He would be the lead guard. He would be expected to generate a lot more offense than he's going to be expected to generate in Miami. With the Miami Heat, he is going to be able to pick his spots. Trust me, the talent is still there for him to be a complete difference maker. And you really can't understate the value that someone like Victor can bring to your team. When he's at his best, Victor has an edge to him. He has a defensive toughness that certainly works very well with Jimmy Butler and Bam. Then when it comes to scoring, when it comes to creating, Victor has shown he's able to create his own shot and create for others, which in the playoffs is absolutely huge. Because when it comes down to it, in the playoffs, having offensive liabilities or defensive liabilities on the court at any time is probably going to be a major problem. Teams game plan for that. They attack liabilities. Victor is not only not a liability, but he is the type of player that is going to benefit the Heat's offense potentially greatly. What we can expect with Victor on the floor is that teams are going to have to focus on him. That means less focus on guys like Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Bam. Suddenly those guys are going to get easier baskets or more open looks because the NBA respects Victor Oladipo. Again, he was an all-star for a reason. Now, will Victor be enough? That remains to be seen. There is a ton of talent in the NBA this season. We've got the Nets, we've got the Bucks, we've got the Sixers, we've got the Lakers, we've got the Jazz, we've got the Nuggets. The NBA playoffs in my eyes are wide open, but the Miami Heat, out of every single team that I just named, I think they made the biggest move that could actually move the needle. I truly do believe Victor can be a difference maker. I can't wait to watch the playoffs. They are going to be so hype, and I'm so glad that the NBA trade deadline ended with this trade. This one could be a big one, guys. I cannot wait to see what happens. With that said, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's go, baby! I'm hyped. Please remember, I have a new podcast with Flight Mike and Get Like Coop. It's called Laced Up. Go subscribe right now and turn post notifications on for a chance to win a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. One of you guys is gonna win very, very soon. I can't wait to see who wins, and speaking of winning, subscribe so that you could be entered into both giveaways I'm doing. Again, once we hit 1.7 million subscribers, I'm giving away a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed, and also make sure you turn post notifications on. Every single video in the month of March, I'm giving away a basketball jersey of your choice. Again, for that, all you have to do is be subscribed, so make sure to subscribe so that you could potentially win one of 2 giveaways. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, guys, and cue that music. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're gonna love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.